Hello, this is the Kia K4 GT line, top spec, all the fruit, and I think you're going to like it, because I kind of like it. It's refreshing to get back in a little, well, it's not little, it's 4.7 metres long. That's the same size as a Tesla Model Y or all sorts of things. Oh, nice Lotus there. But it feels like a light, small, nimble car. It's got paddle shift. I can go up and down the gears. You can't see it, but you can probably hear it. We can fling it into tight little corners like this, and it grips and goes, and it's just a nice, satisfying car. It's a family car. Plenty of space in the back, even though it's got a fairly low roof line, being a low-slung sedan with a swoopy roof. You can still fit 3 decent-sized people in the back in comfort. Just a nicely balanced chassis. You're getting plenty of communication from the steering. Here's our 45k corner, coming in at 70-ish. It's modern, sophisticated, it's got a nice layout, it's fun to drive. And you thought I was just a total EV zealot, didn't you? The only thing holding it back is probably its price, because this one with all the fruit is $46,990 on the road. And you can buy an awful lot of nice EVs for that kind of money. So I've just done about 300k in it, and I'm just getting the hang of it. So let's go back to the start of the day. Sounds like a good place to start to me. Off we go. A couple of things I'd actually forgotten about petrol cars, just how long they take to warm up in the morning. I'm so used to EVs, that instant heat when you get in. It took a little while to get any temperature in it. And the second thing is in traffic, just how breathless they are. You know, when just getting going like this. All that noise and huff, and takes a while for any power to arrive. It suddenly feels, as I said, very last century. That's the other thing. See, there we are, as soon as we hit 62 k's an hour. Today it's Kia's replacement for the very popular but ageing Cerato sedan. It's the K4. So why am I reviewing what seems to be a dying market, a sedan and a petrol one? Well, because there are still people out there who, for whatever reason, just don't want an EV. And that's fine. Maybe they don't have a convenient charging location, either in a city unit or in some remote location. Maybe they just like the comfort of what they're familiar with. That's fair enough. Now, with the price of good new EVs continuing to drop, I wanted to find a really good petrol family car that was still cheaper than a comparable EV. And I do really like the quality and ergonomics of modern Kia and Hyundai cars. So what I asked for was a base model K4, Kia's cheapest variant, something well under $40,000, which is currently the benchmark for a decent EV. But I didn't get one. As is often the case with press cars, they want to impress you, so often they come fully loaded. So what I've been given is the top spec K4 GT line, which as you can see is significantly more expensive than the base model S, and also more expensive than, for example, these EVs that I've tested on the channel recently. But it is what it is, and I'm always glad to review a modern Kia. They're really good cars. So let's see, can petrol still compete? So yeah, not an EV. You didn't expect that, did you? And the first thing we're going to do now is go and set our tyre pressures, because I just checked them with my manual gauge and they're at 26, which is a little too low. They should be around 36 minimum for any modern tyre. So that's actually a bit of a strange emission for a car like this. So I really wanted to get in a petrol car for a change, just because, well, it's petrol, and they're still around. Petrol's not dead. And there are some good cars, and this is actually a good car. I mean, it's an unusual thing these days. Good on Kia for producing a sedan, not an SUV. Very, very quiet motor. Okay, job done. They were down at about 28 psi, not nearly enough. If you look on the sidewall of any tyre, it'll say maximum load, maximum pressure. These are Hankook Ventus tyres, and they're actually quite good tyres, and their maximum pressure is 51 psi. Not that you'd ever set it at that, but look, 28's way too low, so we're up at 38. No, it's not going to compromise your ride comfort. Next thing, as always, when you first get in the car, we've got to do the little dance. We can hold the mute button in, give it a double tap, and that turns off the speed limit warnings, but we've got to do this thing. I've programmed the star button, driver attention warnings. I do not want the inattentive driver warning. And speed limit alerts off, thank you, and driving safety, but I don't want lane safety. I don't want you to tell me if I'm straying. So there's a little bit of setup to do. every time you get in the car. That's just the Hyundai and Kia way. Next thing you'll notice is we've got a pretty good reversing camera, but we don't have a top-down view camera. Even though this is the GT line, the top spec car, you don't get that. Can it strike the right balance between family sedan and sporty enough? You know, like a sporty car, we've got modes here. We've got eco, normal, and now we're in sport, which has sharpened the throttle response and stiffened up the steering. Let's just go back to normal for a while. Normal mode. And like fairly raspy little motor there. It's the same motor out of the Cerato GT, 1.6 litre turbo. In this range there are 4 models. There's the S, the Sport Plus, and the GT line. This one's 142 kilowatts, slightly less than the 150 that the i30 sedan gets. The i30N, of course, gets a lot more. It gets 206 kilowatts. Car does not have adaptive suspension. It's just got normal passive shock absorbers, and it's quite a nice ride. Already I can feel it's been nicely tuned for Australian conditions. Now, I have to talk about pricing. I'm just saying you're paying a price for having a legacy petrol car. It used to be the petrol cars were cheaper, but in this spec it's not. However, if you go for the entry-level car, the base model Kia K4S, and you don't get a lot of the fruit, but you do get a lot of good stuff. And look, it might turn out that the base model car with the lower powered motor and a lot less fruit, no sunroof, no Harman Kardon 8-speaker stereo, and less of even the safety stuff might be better value for money. Skinnier tyres, smaller brakes, beam axle suspension instead of this one's independent multi-link rear. Yeah, steers nicely. Yeah, it's good. Look, you know what it's like on our channel. We really value cars that steer well and give you feedback and are nice to drive. That's what it's all about. Yeah, interior, cabin. They've gone modern. The Cerato had, you know, analog gauges here. It was getting a bit tired and dated. This is very typical of the modern Kia and Hyundai cars. It's very nice, easy to read, very responsive. Nothing to say about this that I haven't said already in all the other Kia and Hyundai reviews. Just a really nice interior. Good seats. Being the top spec, it's got, you know, 8-way adjustable lumbar support as well. They're ventilated and they're heated, and I've got a heated steering wheel. So we're on 18-inch rims, 235 wide with a 40 profile. Hankook Ventus, as I mentioned. Okay, cabin we were talking about. Physical buttons for your aircon stuff. Big buttons to get to your main things, media, map, nav stuff, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wireless and wired if you want. Don't know why you'd go wired when it works so well as wireless. Front wheel drive, of course, and it doesn't have so much power that it'll overwhelm the wheels too much. Quite a long wheelbase chassis. I don't know why they would call this a small car, because if you go to the Kia website, small cars, Picanto and the K4. This car is larger than the original Holden Commodore when it came out. It's slightly longer, it's much wider, it's taller, and it's got a longer wheelbase than the VB Commodore of 1981. And that's pretty bizarre, isn't it? And yet they call this a small car. That just goes to show you what our perception of what a small car is has changed. Now, as you know, it's the old pack, so you just can't speed along here. You just have to cruise along at 70 k's an hour. But we can still get a feel for the handling and stuff. And yeah, it stays really flat. You know, come into motorbike corner at 70, rounded at the speed limit. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, really nice chassis. Like it. Much nicer having got this car out of town now. I'm enjoying it. Here we are. Here's a slow corner. Come in at 70. Didn't push at all. Just a bit too dear. 47 grand. Yeah, the motor's got a lovely little purr when you're not on it. It's raspy when you jump on the throttle. We've also got paddle shift on the GT line, so we can drive it manual. We can slot it over to sport mode there. See sport mode, down the gears, second there. We're going to join the freeway, come around the bend. petrol motor. There's kind of a romance to that, isn't there? Paddle shift and jump on the throttle. Why not? Up the gears, back to normal drive mode. Yeah, now it's in 6th. So climbing the hill. I thought I should have turned all the bings and bongs off, but they're back again. Now, as has been pointed out to me, we don't like to demonstrate hands off the wheel, but I just do it like this so you can see that the car's actually steering reasonably well. Hyundai and Kia do a good job with on the freeways with their lane keeping assist. Okay, Marie, how does it go? $6,000. That's lovely enough, isn't it? For a family sedan. 4th, 5th, 6th gear, 7th gear, 8th gear. Yes, 8-speed automatic. The Cerato GT, the predecessor for this car, had a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox. They've gone back to a conventional automatic with this, and it's not a bad thing. So that was a GT car, the Cerato GT. This is just GT line, but I think with this one they've tried to do both. We can go sport shift and use the paddles. 3rd, punch it. 4th, 5th, 6th. It's not a hot hatch, you know, but it's still good. The steering in normal mode, yeah, a little too floaty for me, but I can see a lot of people would like that. It is still much better, to my mind, than the EV5 and EV3 that I drove along here recently. I prefer, there's a more direct sense, more communication, but I actually quite like the steering on this, particularly in sport mode. There we go, cruise control on, lane keeping assist off. You can turn your rear camera on at any stage, so you can use that as a rear vision mirror, because it's quite a narrow slot back there, so that's not a bad thing. Even the base model car, if you add the safety pack, you still don't get autonomous emergency braking till you go up to the sport. You go, why? Why not just have all the safety stuff across the range, you know? It's really come to the modern era now with a fully digital layout. Only the base model K4S doesn't get this full 12-inch displays. It gets a slightly lesser one here, I gather. Haven't seen it. But no, really, really excellent interior ergonomics, comfort, seating, bit of lumbar support, good range of adjustment, mirrors are good, easy to adjust, everything's sensible. If you're coming out of a car that's 10 or 15 years old, you finally decided to trade up and get a new car, you'll be blown away by how many features and stuff there is and just how good they are. All modern cars are just so good. It's just a shame at $46,990 for this GT line that a lot of these features didn't find their way into anything less than the top line car, because at $31,000, I'm actually sorry I didn't get to test that car. Kia of course have 7-year warranty, unlimited kilometres. Servicing's a little more expensive than some other cars, which is a shame. Having a decent, you know, it may be a space saver spare, but at least you've got a spare. That's actually a really good thing. So there's a lot to like about it. The base model car is under 1,400 kilos. This one's just over 1,400 kilos, like half a ton lighter than a lot of EVs. So, and you can really feel it. It feels like a light and nimble car. So that sort of makes up for the fact that it may not have, you know, an enormous amount of punch, particularly down low. There's plenty of room in it. So really the only criticism's the price, and they don't really discount. You won't see massive special sales on for these cars. If you're thinking about it, go and test drive one. You might really like it. What's not to like? Styling is a polarizing thing. Kia's adopted its current design language with these sort of triangular bits and these headlights that look a bit like, I don't know, like a Velociraptor. You see what I mean? And there's a lot of piano black on the outside, which I'm not mad about. You're going to have to keep washing this car for it to keep looking good. But look, the ride's great. This is a really bad little section of road, and it's just handling these potholes and bumps very well. Suspension tuning is really good. These are well worn out roads, lots of bits filled in, potholes, and it's firm but not harsh at all. I don't think it's overly firm. I think it's spot on. when we do hit a big pothole, it deals with it very, very well. I'll show you something else. With the window down, absolutely no wind buffeting. It's really funny how some cars, like the current Supra or the BMW Z4, horrible buffeting. Good job, Kia. See, here we've got some smoother surface, and that's really nice. And the car's pointy enough anyway. So it's got decent power. If we slow right down, go back to first gear, second gear, first gear. You could feel those gear changes were fast enough. A little bit of a chirp at the top end of first. So yeah, it goes fine. I mean, the range of this car, well over 500 Ks. We don't even need to bother talking about range and efficiency in this car. You know it's going to be reasonably cheap to run. The normally aspirated motor, 15,000 K service interval. Right, that was a killer pothole. I want to go back and actually see that one and just see how bad that was, because that was a monster. I didn't see it, but you sure felt it, because that one really tested the limits of the suspension. And that was the kind of pothole that will actually cripple a car. Aha, there it is. Because that was a ripper. Yeah, so that's it. You can see why that one's a challenge. It's got a soft in and a very hard out. So that one tested us. Let's go and, we better go and check the rim. And of course it's dealt with it very well. That's our 40 profile tyre. So the GT line gets the 40 profile tyres. The other models start with 16-inch wheels with, I think, 55 profile. The S model, which is the base model, gets 16-inch wheels, and then as you go to the Sport and the Sport Plus, you go 17s. I quite like this. It's a shame they couldn't do this style of door handle on the front one as well, like here, to get rid of that completely. Then it'd be a lot sleeker along the side. Okay, so now the fun bit. You're a sporty driver, decent bit of road. Look, it's not a hot hatch, so we're not going to pretend it's a Hyundai N car, but keep the speeds modest. Yep, good levels of grip. Needs a bit more lateral support in the seat now because we're moving along. Yep, you can hear that. Nothing wrong with this gearbox, just a conventional 8-speed automatic. Nonetheless, good fun. Even though it's got this sort of angular, traditional Kia, there's our pterodactyl lights there. Even though it's following the modern Kia design cues, it's kind of conservative in a way. It doesn't rock any boats. And modern, but not too out there. The rear taillight design's intended to look a little bit more imposing and wide than the Cerato. One thing you're going to like is that 91 octane, so you don't have to put premium in it. Let's have a look in here. And yeah, spacious, long, 508 litres, that's pretty good. And a real tyre. Yeah, what do you think? Do you like the styling? Obviously it's a personal thing, I don't mind it. Let's have a look at the motor. But also, there it is. Little 1.6 turbo front wheel drive, 8-speed auto, 142 kilowatts in this car, 150 in the Hyundai, 265 Newton meters in both cars, torque from 1700 revs, they claim right all the way to 4,500. You get on it, hecketed, bit of torque steer. I don't know why the wipers came on then, but it claims the torque comes in from way down at 1700 revs, but like any petrol car, if you're coming out of an electric, it feels, you know, where's my instant torque? You know, it's just not there, but it's still good. Let's see how it handles the bump here. That's a lovely bump coming over that bridge, and yeah, good job. It is a little bit annoying, even though we've got driver profiles to set up my seat position, the mirrors and stuff like that, just by selecting your profile here. It's a little annoying that also doesn't save the safety settings, so you still have to do the little dance each time you get in to turn all those things off. In 20 years' time, it'll be such a foreign thing to drive a car like this, driving at a sedate speed, under the speed limit, but they're very slow corners here. Here's a 35k corner. Back off mid-corner, did not understeer, really good. Yeah, I get it, it's fun. It's a nice car, and if you do live a long way out of town and you haven't got any charging stations nearby and you can't charge at home, it's a pretty rare combination, but if that were the case, sure, I get it. So what do you think? Would you buy this car? Is petrol dead? What do you think? CarPlay's working, nice looking dash, two-tone wheel, only on the GT line. You can go, there we go. Now it takes my coffee. Yeah. Seats are good. Full fans. Lumbar support's good. Very quiet at idle. You'd almost think it's electric, it's so quiet. Decent economy we've been getting, as you can see. Last bit was a bit sportier, so we used a bit more fuel. But overall, 8.9, pretty good. While it's lovely to have all the features of this car, I wonder, is it really worth it? Why not just save $14,000 and go for the bare bones basic one? Yes, you only get skinny wheels and tyres, 205s. The brakes are slightly smaller. The brakes feel very good, by the way. You only get a beam axle rear suspension. You get a normally aspirated motor without a lot of power, but cars like this, power's not really what it's all about. You're still getting the same chassis tune, 32,990. I think that would be probably the smart buy. So here's my score. I'm sorry Mark's not here to assist me with this. I'm sure he would have quite liked this car. At the start of this video, I asked if this car could compete with a car like, for example, the MG S5, a mid-sized family SUV EV that costs almost exactly the same. And I'd have to say, even though I really like the way Kia cabin and ergonomics work, unless it's a classic performance car, petrol cars as daily drivers feel very last century to me. So no. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love my petrol motors. The performance version of this same motor in the i30N, for example, is fantastic. But in this car, there's no romance to the motor, and I'm not finding any thrill in swapping cogs either. So for me, no, its time has passed. If you're adamant that you do want a petrol car, sure, this is a really good family car. You can see, I did enjoy it. Kia makes excellent cars, so maybe that's all you need to know.